And we are recording. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hopping on. I'm talking with my good friend, Bobby F. Parihar. What's up, Bobby?
How you doing, brother? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect, man. Yeah, just a little background on how we met. Um, I don't know. You want to go into that backstory there?
You are a mutual friend of mine. We're friends with a mutual friend of mine, surrounded together in our entrepreneurial asset that we had to basically create something for ourselves and make something of our lives. And when you do that, you start to surround yourself around that type of people. And I guess numerology was a present theme in your life. It was something that was uh, really big for me. And you came into my life as someone who needed to have a little bit of numerology done for them. And we hit it off immediately. You have a lot of the same numbers that I do. And for me, that's really big and that's really important for the type of person that I am, that, birds of a feather flock together kind of thing. So, we instantly became bros. And since then, you've been flattering me by coming to me for advice, counsel, insight, perspective. It's like the most unreal thing, because it's like you're in, and I know you're in a lot of cool different things that it's just like, to be recognized, it makes me feel really good, bro. So just want to say that I love you, man, and I really appreciate being able to do this with you. And I'm really excited. So, Jim, you've been a great friend of mine, and we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, right back at you, man. So, yeah, I guess before we hop into the numerology stuff, and we got some really cool stuff to talk about as far as the numerology. But just before we hop into that, how about like just the 30-second background on who you are, and a little bit more about on your upbringing and how you came into numerology. That'd be interesting to hear about as well.
So, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to be 33 this year. I live in Vancouver, Canada, so west coast of BC, and I guess I'm half Indian, I'm half Spanish. And what else can I tell you about me? I really love drawing. I love things art. I love being able to sing and dance, and I'm really energetic and lively. I give really good hugs. Like I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter, but I fight for those that I love. I'm very poetic, and it's a very beautiful thing for me to be able to just see life in a bunch of colors. My upbringing is a lot of sales, a lot of retail background. I've had a lot of different jobs. Was unable to get a lot of things done professionally. Stunted a lot in my life just by not, I guess, recognizing what I was really working with. And I know a lot of people can relate, where you're so hard on yourself, right? So that you kind of missed the mark just because you were just so critical. So I went through some hardships professionally, and really strange, because I love communicating. I love helping people. I love sales. I'm very professional when it comes to being able to help people. But when it comes to being able to help myself, I was always missing something. I was always, I guess, longing for something or wanting to have that in someone else. And I know a lot of people can relate with that as well. So a few years ago, I decided to get into business for myself. And I was inspired by a friend of mine who was having a lot of success by becoming an entrepreneur full out. I mean, like, I was always doing lots of cool different things: graphic design, production media, slideshows, wedding events, wedding invitations, business cards, logos. I would MC events and host events for people, do public speaking. Like, that stuff is no problem. I've been doing that for a very long time. And then but I never had my own business. I never had my own. Let's do this and let's be into business for myself. So it's like, that's it. Jobs, I got fired again, and this time I was doing really well in my job. I was like, I'm going to get into business for myself. And when I did, it changed my entire life. First of all, it brought me to numerology. The friend of mine who had gotten into business had another mutual friend who was a numerologist. She was an alignment specialist, abundance alignment specialist. So everything that I'm going to do, I'm going to give thanks to this amazing woman. She came into our lives. Her name is Leah Sinclair. And she was just sitting at a wealth and health and wellness expo. And my friends went up to her, and she gave them a quick reading for, like, they were closing pretty quickly. So she had to be quick. So she writes all these numbers down based on his birthday and his name, and just basically takes his name and, puts all the numbers, on a chart. So, and then suddenly she starts describing his life. And I'm sitting there looking at this video that they recorded, like, what? I'm so confused right now. Like, why? How is it that these numbers are corresponding to what's happening in his world? So he had a dramatic lights on moment and enlisted her immediately. So she decided to do his alignment. She decided to help him through, and everything decided to change for him. It was a phenomenon. It was something that was very out of, we didn't even know what to place. It was very foreign and alien. Like, what is this weird voodoo that this person is doing? Like, I don't get it. Is this math? And so she decided to do a 4-day, 3-day, powwow with a group of us, a couple dozen of us, teaching us what I'd love to be able to show you, like a sprinkling of tonight, and in the days to come, if this is something that interests you. If you feel that gut urge, trust me, you're about to be severely validated for that. So hang tight with me, okay? So she had this 3-day event. She taught everybody what the numbers were, how the numbers work, what the numbers mean, how they relate to your life, the whole A to Z gambit. And some of us was like, wow, this is great to know. Some of us was like, I need to know this. This is a language that allows me to really understand someone at a human level. And being in communication, being in sales is very, very important and critical that I understand how things work for people. So I went to her, and she's, I bought her for her services, paid for her services for a few hours, had her talk. I talked to her again and again, and like, I just couldn't get enough. Went to her course, couldn't get enough. Became really close friends with her, couldn't get enough. I needed to learn more. And what you're about to see is basically something that has been able to bless me in so many ways to be of service to you and of service to anyone who's got a question, who's uncertain, who has some doubt, who doesn't really know what's going on. X, Y, Z, ABC, you choose it. Whatever's going on in your life that seems to be part of the equation, you're about to get a seriously big light turned on for you, okay? In short, I met this lady, and she basically taught me everything she knew. I took it into my own direction slightly, and I have since then been able to do readings and measurements for hundreds of people in the last 2.5 years, and it's been absolutely amazing. So I'm super blessed that we were able to come to you now, because this is something that's been in the works for me for a while. Jim here has been coming to you guys with content for the last, Jimmy. He always brings it live. So I'm super honored and blessed to be able to be a part of this right now and to share this with you guys, because I'm not ready yet from my own show. For whatever reason, I've got some things to take care of. But Jim's here is like, no, we got to get this done. Let's do this video. You're on it, and here we are. So I hope you got to, bring your helmet, bring a change of pants, because it's going to get wild, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm super excited. So I hope that answers the question and leads us to our next one, perhaps there, Jim.
Yeah. Okay, so about the numerology. So can you go into to someone brand new into this who's just learning about maybe the principle of vibration and how each number carries with a certain vibration, certain characteristics? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So what is numerology, right? Like, basically you went and just kind of put out the, like, what it is underneath is like the vibration and the energy, right? If you if you have anything on this world, anything in 3D, anything like a table or like a chair or like a house or like a door, these things are defined by what they are. A door is a door, okay? A chair is a chair. A table is a table. Like, if you say table, you mean something that's a table. Like, what is a table? It's got legs on it. It's got a surface on it. It could be wobbly. It could be straight, but it's a table. So it holds to its definition. So the thing about this is that there's a very weird language that I don't quite understand, but it's caused me to question my faith and my reality of my existence. Because if we take the word table and we break down the numbers and we start to take a look at what the numbers say and what the vibration of the numbers mean, we're actually going to get a definition for a table. And this happens in our life. This happens in our name. This happens in the date we're born. This happens in everywhere we go. And there's this algorithm. So when I talk to somebody about their numbers, we sit down, I take their digits and I give them their equation. I give them this equation they have, and I get a full-on matrix about what you're dealing with in your life, about what you want, how you're going to deal with things, where you want to go, where your pitfalls are, where your karma is, how your personality, what type of character are you, what's your fate, destiny, harmony, vibration, level of frequency. Everything is vibration. If you believe in the law of attraction, it's something you believe in, or the power of faith of belief and power of belief, Like, it's sad the way that it's been delivered to humanity, because it's a solid science. It's such a magnetic force that it's not something that you should play with as a belief. It's something that you should understand as a science. It's like gravity. It's magnetic. It's magnetism. So vibration is magnetism. Like oh, that guy's magnetic. He's attracted. I'm attracted. It's attractive. It's attracting. I'm unattracted to that. I'm repelled by that. It's all laws of attention, of attraction, of intention, laws of vibration. The law of power of thinking is so much more than what we understand. Even right now, I'm mitigating the thoughts and the pulses in my brain to be able to downforce them into my throat so that I can say something that you're going to be able to hear and then internalize and then go back into. So we're taking a few different bridges to be able to share this vibration for you. Even on the phone, you're not in person. I'm using this device, squeezing my vibration down through this antenna, and you're basically picking it up and unfolding it on your side. So the same thing with numbers. We're going to be able to take something, have its definition, it's going to bundle itself up, and then it's going to express itself on you based on your name, based on the day you were born, and all the other names that you're carrying. So, I mean, everything has a definition. Everything has a code. Everything has a blueprint. And to get your numbers is the blueprint of you. I'm very religious, and my spirituality is my faith of my center of belief. I believe in Chuck Norris. I believe in Bruce Lee. I believe in aliens. I believe in reincarnation, past lives, time travel, space travel, interparallel dimensional travel. I believe in conspiracy. I believe in a lot of cool, crazy different things. So this is my religious set. When I found this language, it's been irrefutable. So where I may be out to lunch, you're going to find for yourself whether this has value for you or not. So what I can do, Jim, if you have another question for me before we start, I'm going to show how we calculate this, and maybe you guys can play along so that you can kind of get a quick little mini reading if you want to play along. It's not going to take too hard. If you haven't done math in a while, you may want to write this down. But if you're quick on your feet, then you should be able to pick this up pretty quick. Okay. Do we have any questions there, Jim, or what do you think? Did I nail that one, or did I just go off and ramble like usual?
No, that's the perfect segue. The next segue is to what are these numbers? Let's do this.
Okay. So, I mean, you've probably seen this before. These are the numbers 1 to 9. There's also 0, right? I mean, that's a number on its own. In the purpose of how you add things up, you probably will never get 0 if you add anything together. So, I mean, it does exist, but it's not relevant for you. So your birthday is gonna land on one of these numbers, right? I'm born in June, and my birthday is 28, and my year is 84. So I am born on a life path 2. This is basically the number that I have, okay? 6 plus 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4 equals 2. You could check the math, whatever. Jimmy, when's your birthday, buddy?
1/21.
What's the month? Sorry, what month is it?
January.
January?
Yep. January 21.
21?
1978.
1978. So we're going to take this, we're going to go 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 7 plus 8. This should come up to 2 as well, correct?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So Jimmy and I, we are the same. We've got the same number, okay? So this is going to be kind of cool, because if I meet Jimmy in life and be like, hey, man, you're cool, I'm cool. Hey, you get me, I get you. We both get, we're like two buddies here. Like, you know, we're not on the opposite ends of the spectrum here. We're kind of two peas in a pod, right? So sometimes your birthday will add up to a 1. Sometimes it adds up to a 6. Sometimes it adds to a 9. If you take a look, see quickly, just going to tap out of here because I don't know where my eraser is, and I lost it, so I got to do it. Okay, so now when you take a look at what number you have, it's going to give you an idea about the type of path that you're on. This is what we call your life path. Your life path, if you want to think of it as the day you were born, it's like a ski hill, okay? So there's a ski hill running here, and then you're going to die one day at the end of the ramp. Hopefully, it's nice and smooth like this, and it's all downhill. Sometimes life doesn't hit you that way, but there's going to be 3 sections of your life, right? So the very first one is going to be the month. So I was born in June, and then the second life, when I turn 28 years old, I'm going to go into the 28. And then when I go into my 55 and to end scene, I'm going to go under the 1984. So when all this adds up to a 2, we know that as a 2, I have this vibration, and then until I'm in the first part of my life, I'm going to be 6 over 2, and then I'm going to be 1 over 2, and then I'm going to be 4 over 2. So that's kind of cool, right? Doesn't mean anything yet. Great. So I'm just finding out more numbers. You still have a little guy there in a snowboard. You're still skiing, all right? You're still actually getting on there and doing something with your life. You have a name path. So you were born with one. You're called one. You got a Facebook name. You got whatever, nicknames. So you got, like for me, I'm Bal1, Bobby, B, Al, Bob. So I've got a few different vibrations going on here. And, it can get kind of confusing, but I'm a kind of a complicated kind of guy. So I'm just going to quickly get this out of the way. And yeah, so this is kind of cool. So, okay, I'm going to leave this part up because I want to be able to show you what's going on here. I've got different sections of my life that I'm going to go through. And you guys can do this on your own too. Okay, so make sure that while you're following along, you've got your birthday, you know what number it is for sure, and then you know what the 3 parts of it. So for me, I'm going to be 6, 1, 4, okay, and then 2. So this is my life path. And then when I have my name, I'm going to have one name, another name, another name. We're going to get into that in another day. That's tea for another time. So what do these numbers mean? They're all fine and dandy, but they all hold vibrations. So when you're on this life path, this is the goal of life. This is the goal of life. Is this peace. This is what you strive for. What you do with it and how you get there and how you arrive, that's all up to your karma. That's all up to what you came to choose to learn. There's a whole, this is just it's a manual. It's not even like you can't even like describe it any other way than the Bible to who you are. So, that is totally for another day. The life path, however, this is enough for us to digest right now. These numbers are going to show up here. They're going to show up on your name. Like 1, 2, 3, like 9 or 12 numbers. They're going to show up everywhere. And we're going to be able to take these numbers and their relationships and talk to you about your life. So as a 1, let's focus on the 1 for a second. The 1 is the leader. The 1 is the brand new. It's the, I'm taking charge into my own life. I'm leading the charge. I'm going to be doing something new with my life. I am wanting to take a new direction. I have a sense of ego, a sense of self, sense of direction, sense of leadership. These people want to be followed. Or they want to lead people. They need to be in charge. It's their way or the highway. Their sense of self. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of me. There's a lot of self-talk. Every number is going to have its positive and its negative side. If you're imbalanced and the equation doesn't make sense, you're most likely going to be drawn to the negative. If, however, you have a balance in your equation, you experience harmony, vibration, frequency upgrade, everything will be on the positive side of these numbers. The positive side of the 1 is they're a leader. They'll take you into a new direction. The negative side is what they only think of themselves. They're very self-serving. So if they have problems with the ego and they need to be satisfied, and it's a downward spiral, these people are pretty dangerous and manipulative people because they're probably just going to do what they want and be very stone cold, hardcore salespeople. When you're looking at a situation, sorry, give me one second. Where a 1 can be in a good place, you're looking at someone who can start a new business, who can lead the initiative, and then on the opposite end, you're looking at someone who basically just only thinks of themselves. So let's take a look at what happens next. Let's go ahead to the other side here and let's do the number 2. So if 1 was about the self, 2 is about the partnership. Now we're talking about 2. We're talking about a couple. We're talking about one and the other. The life path 2 is someone who thinks in terms of being a best friend, being a lawyer, or being like the loyal partner, being the lover, being the child, being the parent. They're defined by the opposite. They're defined by the connection. So for me, my whole point of life is to connect with other people. For someone who's a 1, their whole point in life is to lead things and go into a new direction and bolster into brand new unknown territory. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're the 1. The 2 is all about, I'm going to be there for the other. I'm going to be there to help the other person. Let's do this together. Like, let's get it going on. And then you have the 3, which is, and let's talk about the positive side of the 2, is that you do your best work in partnerships. You do your best work with other people. You do the best work you can, in groups or with someone else. So that you're good in sales. You're good in like a service role, or you're good in helping other people. The negative side is that you're going to get your ego and your sense of identity from the interaction from someone else, and that can be really destructive. If you get your sense of self from someone else, everyone will introduce a balance error. So you have to be prepared for that. Your karma is dependent on these other numbers that are running in your name. If those numbers are out of balance, chances are you're going to be pulled towards the negative side of it, and it's going to hurt on its way down. It's going to be like feeling like you're getting cut and hit and burnt. Trust me, especially with some of these numbers that get caught in the wrong spots, it's no fun. The 3 is fun though. The 3 is cute. The 3 is romantic. The 3 is loyal, loving, playful. It's very friendly. It's very attractive. It can do a couple of things at once. It's the life of the party. It always loves to be the peacemaker. This is someone who's really, really cool and calm. But they also can go into a lot of different directions. They can be kind of flighty and, like, oh, well, whatever, and drop it and not really care. They can sweep things under the rug, which is really dangerous. They'll pretend things are okay when really they're not. And this is where you start to get sacrifice from. And, like, oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Oh, what's that smell? It smells like dead bodies. Oh, no, don't worry. There's just some skeletons. Oh, don't worry. And it's like, it can be very dangerous when you want to hold off appearances and you want to just, act like things are cool, because the 3 gets its sense of identity from being loving, loyal, creative, and playful. A 3 needs to be an artist. They need to be able to create things, draw, love, dance, whatever it is that makes them feel happy. But there needs to be art and expression. It could even be just that they're taking time to put their makeup on, or taking time to cut the beard properly, or trim up real nice. Like, take a fine finesse in how you look is the 3's thing, but it's very creative. It's very much of a song. Then we looked at the 4. The 4 is now, like, let's say if we're going through dynamics here, the 4 is going to be, like, if you think of 4, the first thing you think of is like 4 corners to a square, right? Like square, like it's even, it's quadrilateral, it's paired up, it's a good foundation. 4s are very analytical. They want to see, if this one wanted to see the flowers and the blossoms and the blooms, this one wants to see the proof in the pudding. So if you're skeptical right now, you may be at one of this, you may be somewhere around here or maybe in here, where this kind of thing is like, you know what, show me the proof. Is this real? Or are you just like blowing over my head here? You keep your rules. 4s are very solid. They're very stable people. They're people who, if they're on the positive, they're very solid and stable. If not, they'll get their sense of identity from working or giving up on their dreams so that they can have a paycheck, because this person works hard. They're the person who slams the hammer, and they're going to have a hard day's effort put into it. So this is good for people who want to build families, but it's not so fun, right? It's more like the rules. Like if this was good cop, this one's bad cop. It's like, it's not as fun. The 4 is just stable. It's sturdy. It's not needs to be fun. It needs to be solid. And the funny thing is, when you get into the 5, let's see what we do with the 5 here. The 5 is going to be an interesting number, because if this was solid and stable, now this one introduces instability. This one introduces adventure. This one introduces change. This one introduces a fight. The positive side is also part of its negative side as well. It's an interesting concept with the 5, because the 5 will fight for the people it loves. If you've got a 5 in here, you're a fighter. You're a warrior. You will need to travel. You will need to move. There's no 4 corners of sitting anything. It's like, I need to move around. And you will stop someone from being hurt. Your loved ones, kids, elderly, pets, animals, people who can't speak for themselves. It's a gift and a curse because I've dealt with 5 people before, and it's not very easy. It's a little bit argumentative on average. However, if you have one in your leagues, these are the best people to go into war for you. They're the people who are, no, I'm going to call them. You just sit back and relax. Don't even think about it. I'm going to call them right away. We're going to get this thing certain. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're the people who are taking care of you. They're the people who will fight for what they believe in. The only problem is they need to be moving. There's no stability. It's always moving, shifting, very nomadic. Here we've got stability, and here we've got, like, I need to move and travel. So it can feel a little unsettling if this number is not balanced. It needs to be balanced with travel, move, change of scenery, change of pace, fear of commitment, blah, 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 whatever. It's got to be able to be validated. Any one of these, if it's imbalanced, it needs validation. That's what we're going to do for you guys. Is we're going to be able to give you a scope into how to validate your ego so that if there's a bubble in here, we can take it out and you don't have to suffer in that. So as the 5, it's very powerful on the warrior side. Unfortunately, not too efficient when it comes to wanting to settle down. It needs to be moving. It needs to also be having a fight. Everything is very, very much of a passion for this. The 6 is very interesting because the 6 is actually the most balanced number in the entire gambit. The 6 introduces balance. It needs love. It also needs money. It doesn't need it, but it needs to have both in harmony is what I mean to say. The 6 is very intuitive. It's very much feely. That can be a bad thing. It gives to other people a lot. That can also be a very bad thing. It can sacrifice itself a lot, which also is a very bad thing. As we get into the bigger numbers, the good stuff also becomes very remnant of what the problem is with it. Any questions so far, Jim? You understand what I'm saying? This is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just interesting, as you're going over these numbers to see how, just knowing you and seeing how these fit into your life. And then I was just doing my own numbers. My own numbers add up to 1, 3, and 7, where yours are 6, 1, and 4. So I'm at 1, 3, and 7, and I'm just matching them up. And it's just it's almost uncanny how accurate this is.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
So the 6 is it likes to communicate. This is like if we had the leader, we had the partner, we had the artist, we have the hard worker, we have the warrior. This would be like the king or the queen, the person who's sitting in the throne, the leader of the business, the communicator. This is a very good leadership number, and it also is very intuitive and gives to other people. The problem is it's a self-identity. Will be like, oh, it's okay. You can take my left arm. And it gives more than it should. So the problem is that the stakes are high, and we crave a sense of balance. If balance is not there, then everything is gone. Everything is like you feel like out of the world. Okay, the 7 is a very cool number, and I actually really I really appreciate and adore. The 7 is very, very meditative. It takes the communication into a very, very much different place. It's very stoic. It's very quiet. It's very reflective. The 7 will only reveal 7/10 of what it's thinking. The 7 will also think about things. It won't need to tell you what it's feeling. If you listen to a 7 talk, it's because they've chosen very carefully what they want to say. It's because they're speaking from a place of intuition. They're speaking from a place of feeling, like I feel it, and that's where their throat is. It's in their stomach, so that's where they're communicating. So it's not like they don't idle chit chat. They don't care about that. It annoys them, and they don't get comfortable in quiet spaces. They'll get uncomfortable in quiet spaces. They'll get uncomfortable if the other person's uncomfortable in quiet space. They're being nervous. It's like, can't you just enjoy your peaceful space? Like the 7 is very meditative. In terms of vibration frequency, the 7 also directs to a vibration where heaven is, like where God dwells. So it's a very holy spiritual dimension of meditation and awareness of energy. It doesn't need to communicate what it's talking about. It's just having a good time peacefully by the flowers, not picking them. Okay, so whereas the 7 can be very meditative, and also people will come to the 7 for a sense of church, a sense of feel, a sense of God, a sense of like spiritual relief. So if you're dealing with the 7s, chances are you've got a very strong spiritual connection, And chances are, if you've made really strong relationships, the plus side, then you're going to be a backbone for people's spirituality. People will seek you. On the negative side, you things bottle up. Okay, you don't talk about how you feel. Your depression will eat through the roots of you, and without communication, danger and disease turns into things that grow, like tumors and growths, and things that will be silent attacks. In the more vocal numbers, the attacks are more things like heart attacks, cardiac arrests, and all these other things that can happen to the body that are ruptures. You know what I'm saying, Jim? Like it's like explosions of aggression,
right,
that are happening in a situation like that. Whereas if you got the numbers that are not communicating, then illness and disease is going to attack you like things that you're not going to pay attention to. Like, oh, I don't pay attention to my arthritis, or people don't know that I've got autoimmune, or people don't understand that I'm dealing with autism or whatever the heck it is that's going on with them. Like, people can't see those things, but aggravated numbers and vocal numbers, people are going to see them a lot easier. It's 11:11 over here. Just want to let you guys know. I just checked it. Just want to say, love you guys. Awesome. It's so epic that I'm sharing this with you guys. So as we move on, let's go into the 8 really quickly, because the 8 is a very, very powerful number. The 8 is actually a number for abundance. If you take the 8 principle, it's all money. It's this intelligent design. It's very thinky. It's something that is very highly coveted. This is what Leah does, is she pulls 8s for people. And she puts the 8 in people's lives so that they can have a success in their life, okay? The 8 is all about law of attraction. Your will is your command. You speak in terms of business. You speak in terms of money. You speak in terms of being able to do things for other people, create things like let's go. Like if it's not working for you, you're going to cut your losses right away and you will disassociate. You're super intelligent that people will not even understand that you're making fun of them, because you're on such a higher intelligence level that they just don't even see it. You've got the mind and the vision of someone who can actually get things done. And for you, it's like the law of attraction. It's a law. It's an understanding of science. It's not something you play around with. It's like, yeah, you know what you say, and then it just happens. Like, so the warning with the 8 is that you have to be sure that you don't accidentally misthink. Okay? If you misthink, you will think yourself into poverty. You'll think yourself into broke. You'll think yourself into disease. You'll be so disassociated with the fact that the world's not keeping up with you because these things aren't being met. You're not being validated. You'll just be like, give it up. I don't even care. Just make a lot of money and piss my life away and never be happy. Whereas if you can do it properly, I think there's a big, huge benefit to having a lot of money and to being able to be of service and provide to other people. So 8s are visionaries and they're creators. It's a very beautiful number to have, but it comes with a lot of cost. The 9 is a very interesting number. If we reach the end of our numbers here, I'm not sure what color I can use. I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's going to be completely black because that's the only thing I've got left. So the 9 is infinity. Okay, we don't know how to properly describe this 9, but I'm going to try right now. The 9 is the opposite of the 1. If the 1 was all about the ego and all about the self and the new direction, this is completely egoless to the point where there is a lack of self-identity. And the 9 will completely erase itself in service to others. Humanitarian, they think of things in terms of other people. They think of things in terms of, like humanity. It's never just, what's the job at hand? It's like Mother Teresa or Gandhi level. So it's a very beautiful thing, but it can be very difficult because if you take any number and you add a 9 to it, it's the same number as it was before. So let's take it, for example, pick a number, Jimmy, between 1 and 10.
Okay, let's go 7.
7. What's 7 plus 9?
16.
What's 1 plus 6?
7.
7. Cool. So we got back to 7. Let's try another one.
Okay, let's go with 2.
2 plus 9?
11.
What's 1 plus 1?
2.
So the 9 is going to multiply exponentially whatever it's beside. So we have things like 911. We have things like, Like, this is an emergency code. The 11 is going to be like the spiritual healer, and the 9 is going to be like the emergency response. If the 1 is the person in the ego traveling, the 9 is going to be the complete vortex. So 9s are considered, in my opinion, to be like portals of spirit, where you can go infinitely up and infinitely down. There is no end. There is no crash. The only crash is you bursting through the side and killing yourself or dying at the end of your life because you don't have any more energy. But you're either always going to be suffering or you're always going to be in joy. And it's always going to seem like a struggle to be able to find your own way. So the only way for this to be validated is if it has the numbers that match it, it has the purpose that fulfills it, it has to be of service to other people, it's got to be doing things for others. Otherwise, it doesn't have its karma to learn is me. It's got to be the ego. It has to learn itself. It has to learn what is a person, what is a soul. Because right now it's just basically a conduit of spiritual energy. So negative energy, negative spirits, ghouls, ghoul infestations, whatever you want to call them, karmic equations, things that tap onto a life. They play a big, huge effect in the numbers that have spiritual connotations to them. Things that'll, most of them have something at least that will be able to say, hey, there's a karmic equation to be able to pay attention to. So we come down to this number, this singular digit that you live with as a number, and this is your goal in life, your Kino number. Until you're 27, you're going to be ruled under the month of your vibration. Until you're 55, you'll be ruled under the day of that you were born. And until you're dead, you're going to be ruled on. After you're 55 and onward, you'll be ruled by the number that represents the year you were born. So as a 6, we're going to talk about someone who is very giving. They also sacrifice a lot for what they believe in. They'll give more than they should for others. And they also like to lead. They have a sense of family. They have a sense of like love and a sense of money and a sense of creating something that stands after they leave behind over top of the 2. So the 2 is all about partnership. The 2 is all about connecting with other people. So do you now see how these themes are going to be playing with each other? Can you imagine me as a young kid, always chasing after girls, always giving them everything I had, getting my heart broken, wanting to say, it's okay, I'll be the puppy dog for you. Let's just be in friendship. I love you anyway. I see something great in us, and I can still make it look like it's okay. Like, this is the dynamic when it's in balance. And I've been in balance for a very long time. It wasn't until I got somewhere in my 30s that I actually met Leah and got a chance to get back on course. But the reality is that when I hit 27, 28, I'm now under the 1 vibration. So now the 1 is all about the leadership. It's all about the sense of self. It's all about the ego. It's all about the new direction. It's about the new idea. It's all about starting something. It's all about getting into business. It's all about leading other people. And now what's the 1 over 2? The 2 is all about partnership and connection and helping other people and doing your work with others. So now I'm stepping into a leadership point. Now it's no longer about me sacrificing what I'm going through in my life for other people. Now I'm taking what's mine. I'm taking what I need. Now it's about what Bobby wants. And sure, I'm still going to connect with other people. I'll still lead other people. I'm still going to do my work, and that's the theme of my life. But it's no more Mr. Nice Guy. Like, I'm actually here to do something. I'm actually here to help you guys. So I'm leading this charge with this connection that you and I have in my life, that you're listening to me take the numbers. I'm taking the lead with this, and I'm teaching you something. When I hit 55, I hit the 4, and the 4 is all about hard work, stability, being loyal, building a foundation of some kind, having something that stands, pounding the hammer back and forth, having a hard day's effort. So, I got some work to do at the end of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got to make sure that my rules are, like, after all this, the leading and the wanting to build and everything, I actually get to work. So I don't actually get to work until the end of my life. But what's the 4 over 2? Now suddenly I'm building a foundation. I'm building something solid. I'm building something stable. I'm dependable. I'm reliable. I do this if people can rely on me. They trust me. There's a huge amount of trust because they can see that I'm stable. So this really is a nice mix. I'm really blessed that I have this. My karma comes from having these weird numbers jump in where they shouldn't be, where I'm I need to talk more, but I don't. Or I need to be able to settle down, but I don't. Or I need to be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's being pulled on the wrong side of the numbers on a lot of places, that I was basically wearing an outfit that didn't fit me.
Hmm.
So they call me Bobby F. Parihar now. I call myself Bobby F. Parihar now. This isn't a tale for another day, because the name you choose speaks volumes about what you're able to do, how your gear works, what type of equipment you have, how you respond to situations, why you even care about certain things. And you all want them to make sure they feed all back to the main goal. Sometimes they're off into their own Pluto distance, and they're just making more trouble than they're worth. And sometimes they're straight up and they're just basically being like, you know what, let's do this and let's build this road. So what I can do for you guys is what I do for everybody, and that's give you a little bit of my time. What I usually do for people is I spend about an hour with them, sometimes a little bit more. And what I do is I actually will detail your entire equation for you. Because I detail the entire equation for you, you get a Coles Notes understanding of who you are, where you're at, how you're going to deal with things, and what is this going to do for you. Basically, what this is going to do for you is going to be able to, I guess, what is this? Give you an idea about who you are. You're going to be able to give yourself a break. You're going to be able to actually cut yourself some slack. You're going to be able to see the quantified reality of who you are in God's eye, in the plan of your destiny. What we can do with that is to take a look. Hey, there's some karma here. You've got some things that you can take care of. I can teach you what you need to see in order to fill those gaps. Just knowing where the gaps are enough to change your life forever. I'll show you the benefit of people who are going to be coming into your life, the way that relationships handle and play. And we can also take a look at how you appear. We can take a look at the vibrations you hold and hopefully find something that's going to be suitable to your desire. What I usually do is I will do this for 1 hour, and I go with a full audio recording, and we get a full report. So you'll get an MP3, you'll get a little book that's basically a manual for the next 2 years, and also for your name and life path, and LP. We'll get the full-on coaching. You'll get access to me. We're going to do $100 for the first hour, and then if you want to go ahead and refer me to someone else, it'll be $50 for every hour on top of that. It's a referral price that you get to share with other people. So if you can't pay this and you need to talk to me, then consider this paid for. All right. I will talk to you about how you can pay for this and how you can come up with this without using any money. It definitely costs more, but not everybody is ready to go ahead and do it. Some people don't care about it seriously. If you think it's just a voodoo joke, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'll go through and take a live reading. If you guys want to talk about it like it's fun and you want to have some games, then the next time we do this, just somebody volunteer and we'll do your whole numbers for you. And, and I'll show you a little bit more how it works and you can follow along. But if you don't and you have questions, you may need to come and talk to me. I can definitely come and help you. And don't worry about this. This is actually just something that I can teach you. Is very important. When you learn and you get a hold of what's behind this scratch and win of who you are in your life, it will forever change everything. You can no longer look at your life the same. You can no longer consider yourself a random walking like anomaly. You literally have an equation. You literally have an algorithm. Somebody literally puts you together. And it's unbelievable because what ends up happening is you end up, I guess, everything that was going on in your life is now quantified. Everything that you want to be able, you can see where your snags are. You can see what type of things that are holding you back. You know everything about what I'm about to show you about yourself. If you just take this information and you just say, hey, you know what? Great. It was good. It was free advice. That's all it'll be. But if you look at this as something that can completely change you and completely help you to achieve the thing that you're looking for in this world, then to be quite honest with you, $100 is nothing. And it's important. Like in Indiana Jones, when he takes the crystal away from the temple, he pops a bag of sand on there. This is what that is. A bag of sand is literally enough for you to be like, this is heavy. This is weighty. I know what this feels like. This is $100 and I'm putting it on there. So with that, you should be able to get a fair exchange for the energetic exchange that's about to happen. You can't just peer into the realm of your understanding without paying a price. And I don't care if it's not $100, I'll teach you ways that you can pay for it. So I would encourage you to think that if this is something for you, reach out to us, reach out to Jim, come out and say hi, come up and give me a message. I think we can probably put a link somewhere on here that people can sign up for so that you can hit a newsletter or you can just book my time. So add me on Facebook. And Jim, I must have hit a lot of things. You're going to have a lot of the same questions that people are going to have the very first time they see this. What do you think? I mean, like, did I do it right here? Am I speaking your language? I mean, do I make sense to you? Do you have any questions at all for me?
Yeah, wow, absolutely. That was a fantastic presentation, Bobby. Really appreciate you really walking us through what these numbers mean. This, nothing is random, right? Everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning, and the more understanding that you get from some of these clues, the more you can put everything together and align with your path on where you know that you're capable of going.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So yeah, if anybody want to get in touch with you, Bobby, what's the best way to get in touch?
Facebook, through you. This is your audience, so you probably know Jim. I'd love an introduction, and otherwise, yeah, come see me on Facebook. And if you're in Vancouver, Canada, then you can come and shake my hand. I'd love to give you one of my Bobby hugs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but best way to get through to me is probably Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook Messenger.
Yep. We'll include a link in the description below. So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Bobby.
Have a great night, guys.